I want to respond to a commenter. I did a post about, dads who oppress their daughters, from resources and whatnot. And this commenter says, y'all's dads have money. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling men and women for many years. And I want to make it clear that, I'm not just trying to beat up on men or dads, but I want to talk about a phenomenon that, many women have experienced. And I do think that women who are in Black and brown communities experience this more, at least from my experience in working with them. And what my take is on it is that most men have money. Most fathers have money. Unless your dad is homeless or destitute, then that might be a different story. But even then, and me working with homeless men and men who, have been in other sort of housing situations, even then they usually have a little something. When you have a father that tells you he doesn't have any money or he's not responding to you with money or resources, is because he typically does not want to. What I have found, or what I have experienced, is that men usually have money and resources for who and what they want to have money and resources for. So that's why a lot of men may evade trying to pay child support until they're legally reprimanded. But they'll go out and they'll buy women drinks at the club. They'll go out and pay for certain things and amenities that they want to pay for. They'll go out and buy drugs, alcohol, and all kinds of goodies that they want to have. But when it comes to children, they don't want to be bothered with that. So if your daddy does not want to be bothered with you, he ain't got the money. He ain't got the time. He don't even know your name. He's not interested in what is going on in your life. But believe you me, if he wanted to, he would. And I've seen this time again. And again, I've worked with people across all settings, including homeless people who have made time, energy, and space and given resources to their children when they've wanted to. They'll give their children their last dime, or they'll find a way to get money for their children. So if your daddy does not, but doesn't pay child support, is hooing and hawing, because some of you have stories about where child support was $10 a month and they never paid it, or they sort of finagled you to try to get out of child support, so they did things to try to have it drop. It's because they don't want to. They don't want to be inconvenienced. They don't feel like they should have to do anything for something or somebody that they don't want to be in their life. If he's not making any effort, you are not wanted. And I need to make that clear. I'm not trying to burn or hurt anybody's feelings. But men do this. Men show that they're not resourceful. They demonstrate, hey, don't come to me looking to me for anything, out of hopes that you will stop asking, that you will stop showing up. If I don't have it, then hopefully he or she will get it, and they'll stop asking me, and they'll just disappear out of my life altogether until I need something, and then maybe I can go to them. But I don't want to have to pay for that. I don't want to have to pay for no kid. I don't think I should be inconvenienced in that. And I'm going to tell you something. Here's a little something I'll tell you guys. I worked in corrections for a number of years. I'm going to tell you, there were men who had been locked up for a number of years that were sending money home to their children. That's right, you heard me. There are men in prison that are sending money from prison home to their children. So let me tell you, if they want to do it, they will do it. They valued their children, their family. These men were writing their children letters. These men were taking photos and sending it home to their children. I worked with men like that all the time if they wanted to. But then there were men that I would work with that knew they had children, and they hoped that their children would just disappear. They didn't want to be a daddy. And they would say that, I don't want to be a daddy. I can't take care of I don't want to take care of no kids. I want to do. That has nothing to do with you. You need to see it for what it is, and act accordingly. And of course, life may be more challenging financially, emotionally, physically, by being inconvenienced by a man who brought you here and isn't setting you up. And somebody else asked, like, is this cultural? The things that I'm talking about, is it cultural? These dads that are not supporting these daughters. Again, I have experienced this more in working with Black and brown women, where their fathers become angry with them for being here, for being Black, for being brown, for being dark skinned, for being a girl. So there's there's misogyny, and then there's misogyny where they go out of their way to oppress their daughters. And even if they have sons, you can have a son side by side with their daughter, where their son is getting everything he wants. Anytime he needs money, he can pick up the phone and call. But the daughters, I got nothing for you. They'll watch you starve and pass out on the pavement, because that's how little they want to do with you. And that it goes deeper than that. There's a self-hatred. I think it goes back to self-hatred of Blackness, but also hatred of Black mothers, Black sisters, being angry with a Black woman in their life and feeling like they should be made to suffer. And he is going to take it out. Instead of taking it out or expressing the anger in a healthy way or addressing the person that made him angry. And I've done posts like this before where I said, they'll take it out on the person that they have access to, the person that they feel like they can have power over, the person that they feel like they can oppress. So take that for what you will, and make no mistake. I think this occurs across all cultures and ethnicities, but I have seen it more in Black and brown women. Black women, more so than anybody else, have these horror stories of, basically being, deprived of money and resources. So I hope that helps. If he wants to, he will. Never, ever forget that. I don't care what's going on in his life or what his circumstances are. I've seen men in the worst circumstances find a will and make a way to give their children money and take care of them. Men with severe mental illness, men with substance abuse, men who are homeless, men who are having their own challenges. I have seen them love on their kids, go visit their kids, and send their kids every dime that they've had, before they even put clothes on their own back. I have witnessed it. So I hope that this helps. Be sure to subscribe to my newsletter that's linked in my bio. And, check out my podcast, A Date with Darkness. It's across all, podcast players, wherever you can find your podcasts, including on YouTube. And that's also linked in my bio. Thanks so much.